concur to about 80% of the translation read out by Senator Yai. I think they have done a fair job, except on some issues that they could not understand. First, I have never said somebody was blinded. Secondly, I have never said the budget was padded. Mr. Chairman, the beginning of this brouhaha started with this text, and by your leave, I will read. For the first time in Nigerian history today, we are operating two different budgets. One budget approved by the National Assembly, signed by President Bola Tinubu, and one signed and one implemented by the presidency. The one approved by us is 25 trillion, while the one operating by the government is 28 trillion. Apparently, we discovered 3 trillion was inserted into the budget without location. This is the highest budget padding happening in Nigeria. History under Senator Akpabio, taking place under the watchful eyes of Senator Akpabio. We resolve as people representing to see Bola Tinubu on this issue with facts and figures, to ask him if he's aware with this embarrassment or not. Then from there, we will take action. Let Nigerians be patient with us. This is a national issue. It affects Nigeria, irrespective of party, tribe, or religion. And Senator Abdul Ningi, Chairman, Northern Senators Forum, is purported to be the author of this document, of this. Let me, for the avoidance of doubt, I have never issued out a statement of this nature to anybody, anywhere, and anytime. And I want members of this Senate to record it. This is a fake contribution that was forwarded. I do not know the author of this. Having listened to the House of Virgin read out by Senator Yai, have you discovered any of this proposition? Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. You have discovered one issue that pertains to the budget, and that is the issue of 28 trillion versus 25 trillion. I have said that. And I said, if you are listening to him clearly, that we had passed a budget of 28 trillion, and we have discovered location. That's what I said. Please. Can you listen to me? And I said, in between the 28 point something trillion and the 25 trillion, we have discovered that there is no nexus. There is no nexus. Nexus means there is no amount of money to a location. There is no amount of money to a location. And I said, work is in progress. Mr. Chairman, you recalled last Tuesday, myself and Kau saw you up there, and that we wanted to have an audience with you. And you gave us the grace. to see you. We wanted Wednesday. You said no Thursday. And we met. The National Assembly, the Northern Senators Forum met on a Tuesday with a copy of our findings, which is here before us. And the only person who has a copy is myself. When we met as a forum, nobody, no one has seen what is in these copies. What we did, we read out what was discovered and which we felt was disturbing. Subsequently, therefore, we made a visit to your place. Even as we visited your place, we gave you a summary of what you think happened. And we told you we are almost 80% completion. I tried to run down some of the figures to you, and you listen attentively. At the end of the proceedings, you also said, part of the problem we have is the way the budget was brought, and there was no time for the full rigors of budgetary provision. We said we can understand that. However, I told you, Mr. President, that these two copies with me, we have about 21 additional copies that will make it to you. And I told Bino Sero and Kau that on a Monday, the leadership of the forum will take the complete copies of our findings to you. On a Friday, Mr. President, my attention was called to this particular forward submission. And we chatted. Myself, Senator Dab, Senator Karimi, Senator Medoki. And they showed their anger about this particular statement. And I said, listen to the Hausa version. In the Hausa version, did you hear me mention Akpabio's name? Did you hear me mention pardon? Even the one that was read out, there was no. So I went to Sokoto and quickly came back to Abuja. As I was arriving in Abuja, here you have a presidential spokesman response. Not on the interview I granted, but on this particular version that I said the president is implementing budget. That I said the president does not like the nurse. That I said the president does not care about the nurse. And therefore, because of the filthy nature that the national media took it, I rushed this assembly and countered with documentary evidence what was said here and what I said. Mr. President, if you had listened, all your agents have listened to the Arise interview and the Correspondence Chapel interview, I said categorically, the president's powers stopped as a proposer, as he proposed the budget. And I said, there is no way the National Assembly will add anything on the budget and it becomes funding. The tapes are there. I said the National Assemblies have powers, and you cannot call that powers padding. And I said, I'm very grateful to the presidential spokesman who, encountering me, said the National Assembly added 1.27 trillion. And I was very clear. I was not aware of the addition. I was not even aware, as I'm seated here, of the full budget of the National Assembly. Mr. President, please, can you allow me to, Mr. President, perusing through the budget, first, we discover some bogus anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. And my senatorial district has just 2 billion. Mr. President, yes. Mr. President, in this budget, the year presented to you, I have facts, constituency by constituency. Some 120 billion, some 50 billion, some 30 billion. Mr. President, some have less than 1 billion. Mr. President, as I speak to you, Mr. President, as I speak to you, I do not know your take-home pay. You know my own. I do not know the take-home pays of any of the principal officers. Mr. President, as I speak, I know within the budgetary provisions, you made available funds for purchase of cars. Mr. President, I don't know how much was spent on your cars and the other principal officers. I know how much was spent on individuals, senators' cars. And as I speak to you here, standing, people are calling me names. I do not receive a single car. All within the budget provisions, Mr. Chairman. All within the budget provisions. I have as a matter of fact, I have 5 aides, just like every member of the House of Representatives has 5. Mr. President, I do not know the number of your aides. I do not know the number of the aides of the Deputy Senate President. You allow me to speculate, and therefore everything that is in the budget is my concern. Finally, Mr. President, finally, Mr. President, finally, Mr. President, finally, in the course of it's perfect. Call me for investigation.
Distinguished Senator Ningi, when you just say that in your speech, you tended to deviate from the issues on the floor, and you tended to bundle a lot of issues together. And distinguished colleagues, may I just inform you that distinguished Senator Ningi and distinguished Senator Ismail Akawo requested a meeting with me and Northern senators, that they were going to meet with me and 38 others. And at that meeting, I may have to report to you that even Senator Tambuwa was there, Senator Sani Musa was there, and a lot of other senators, including Senator Bamoro, and many other Northern senators were there. And he told me that he had paid a consultant 30 million to unbundle the budget, and he also made some of the allusions here that what was passed by the National Assembly was 25 trillion, but what is being operated by the presidency was 28 trillion. And when he told me that, I said, I would like to see the details. In fact, he said, so some things are repeated in the budget, and that the calculation his consultants have come up with was 25 trillion. And therefore, 3.7 trillion was hanging. Distinguished Senator Alero, you missed that meeting, but many of the senators were there in that meeting. He now gave me a diagram trying to give percentages allotted to regions. And in the course of it, I discovered that while the Southeast, at least I'm talking of Southeast now, had about 3.9%. The South-South had 2.2%. The South-South is where the Senate President comes from. So I was surprised. So I called his attention, and I requested to have the full details. And he promised me that he was going to make the full details available. And I told him that when the full details are made available, in fact, Senator Ndume was also there, he spoke, that when the full details of his findings, you were there, you even, Senator Ndume was not only there, but he also spoke. I said, when the full details are made available, that I definitely will also get a consultant to study it, and I will call us to meet again. As up till now, you have not given me any document, but you were able to attend to the BBC interview. So, what is before us now is that it will be good for our colleagues, because this thing is in the public glare. If you had given me full details, I have not received full details up to this moment. I would have been able to know what you know. But so far, what you know is only known to you. It's not known to any other person. So I don't know how you rush to the press. Premium Times, all sorts of areas carry different versions. And the Nigerian public, the social media is very fast. From Canada, United States, everywhere, the story was budget padding by Senate. In fact, I can quote a section of the Premium Times that said that this is the highest level of budget padding in Nigeria's history, where the Senate passed a budget of 25 trillion, but what is being operated is 28 trillion. I just want Nigerians to know, because Nigerians are listening to us. I want Nigerians to know that what the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, presented to us in a joint sitting, end of November 2023, for consideration, was 27.5 trillion. So at no time did the president present 25 trillion. Now, the presidency has even come to clarify that. And if there is any addition to the budget, it's in the sum of 1.2 trillion. And he has, the remover of the motion has given us the breakdown of where the additions went to. And also, for me, that you are saying you have, you don't know how many aides the Senate President has, you don't know how many aides the Deputy Senate President has, that is in the budget. We haven't seen the areas in the budget where the aides of the senators and Senate Presidents are listed out. No matter what we want to discuss here, this is not the speech I expected. I expected a speech of somebody who would say, oh, I was misquoted. Oh, I'm sorry for this or that. Oh, the misinterpretation was this. But you went back to Arise yesterday night and justified your position and went further to say you have documents. Even now in front of this Senate, you say you have documents. And those documents are with you. No single senator here knows. No Nigerian knows. But at the same time, Nigerians are bashing the Senate. Nigerians are imbibing. Many Nigerians will never in future come back to respect these chambers. So the integrity of these chambers has been totally damaged, and we wanted you to repair it with your speech. But instead of that, you say you have more documents to prove what you are saying.